happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my brother from another big game, James, and it is Best of Enemies. So today we're gonna do a little something special, but before we get into that, before we talk about what we're gonna actually do, I do want to talk a little bit about football. Obviously, things have been happening. There's been some injuries on the Eagles side. There's been some injuries on the Cowboys side. Obviously, people are putting on pads now, so it's getting a little bit more real, right? Right now, I think the Eagles are actually having an open practice out in Philadelphia, so fans are getting to see what this team's about. You know, I'm sure the same is happening in Dallas. But just off the top, James, what is happening in Dallas Lane? Anything, you know, like a headline that you want to talk about as far as going on in Cowboys camp?
Well, excuse me. Shout out to the crowd, everybody jumping in. Get on there and hit that like button, hit the follow, hit all that good stuff.
Yes,
Before I get all
sir.
deep into it, y'all know how it is. We like to have a packed house. We had a great packed house last time, so let's get it up there again.
Yes, sir.
But I'd say the biggest thing that to me with Cowboys camp, we had a recent signing of a linebacker that Cowboys land, specifically Big Game James has been crying about since December. You know that selfish thing is plug they talk about. And I know you made that good tweet about it. He's like somebody I know somewhere, I know Big Game. I told y'all, you right.
Facts.
I was saying that instantly because I told them in December, hey man, look at this guy. Dallas needs linebackers. Been screaming that for 2 years that the Dallas needs a linebacker help. And we understand Micah Parsons is the dog and animal, but God forbid, Lord forbid, anything would happen, we're back to square one. And even when you with Micah Parsons, you still saw the lack of depth. LVE came back from a healthy season. I think he played 17 games first time he's done something like that in a while. That was great. But when you still look at Jabril Cox, he's still coming back slowly from that knee injury. Damone Clark, who was their 5th round draft pick, he's still on the mend with his neck injury. So you need depth. So they put the call out from Malik Jefferson. I liked it. He's a young player, but he's kind of a journeyman right now. You get what I'm saying? You still needed that established veteran, Joe. And we all been kind of screaming about in Cowboys land for the last couple months. There was already history there. There was talk about it. He was going to cost too much money. He was talking about $11 million. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Baby Nuts Jones, he fleeced him and got him for $3 million. You know what I'm saying? That's what he do. He fleeced him for the $3 million and with incentives. So there's history right there because he's had George Edwards as the linebackers coach and a coach of him. He fits into the system. He can play multiple positions. He can cover. He can play the run well. You can send him on blitzes. I think he's what the Cowboy needs, and you can still bring along the linebacker slowly who you have that are younger. I don't feel like that puts the pressure on the Jabril Cox or the Damone Clark when he's ready. That slowly brings them in the fold, and then you can see them really exploding because they weren't thrown in the fire all like that, and I think that's the better way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely something, you know, I did make that joke on Twitter. I had to. But look, you know, it was definitely something that you've been pounding the table for. I wasn't really surprised when I saw the signing. And that's why we do this show, right? To try and get into the opposition's head. So it wasn't really a surprise, I don't think, for those that watched this show. We knew you guys wanted that. How do you feel about the wide receiving position, though? I mean, there have been some injuries there. Do you think that's something? I know that they don't like to spend money, but is there something you think that maybe they go into the kitty a little bit just to try and shore up that spot?
I think what they're gonna do. I think it's a little different situation with the linebacking core because they feel confident because you got a Micah Parsons and thing of that nature. I think they really they have a lot of young wide receivers. You don't have a lot of young linebackers in the stable. So I think those two situations are different. I think you got about 10 or 11 receivers on the roster. A lot of them are undrafted. I think 6 or 7 of them are undrafted, but you saw some potential. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it's practice. And, you know, we talk about practice, like Allen Iverson said, it's practice. So, you know, some of these guys, they're talking about the Dennis Houston coming out of Western Illinois. He's really been turning up, looking really good. He's got some good Dak Prescott has spoke highly of him. CeeDee Lamb, a lot of the players and coaches that spoke very highly of him. I think he got some runs with the ones and still look to continue to look impressive. But to me, still small school. It's practice. You know, let's see some preseason work. Let's see him get a lot of work in the preseason. Let's see how he does, because we all know practice is different than the real games. Preseason is different than real live games, and all that stuff can look great and all that great in preseason, and then we get in the real game, you shut down, they ain't getting no yards. The next thing you know, we screaming, "Go! Why didn't we get that veteran?" So I think James Washington being out, I had already been speaking about the wide receiver depth. I told you, Joe, when we had our last show, you asked me what was my concerns. I said wide receiver depth and linebacker depth. Well, the Cowboys listened to the linebacker depth. I feel like they still need to address the receiver side. Emmanuel Sanders is out there. I like T.Y. Hilton. A lot of people talking about Will Fuller. I don't want that because he's very injury prone. He played 2 games last year with a broken thumb. So I don't really want to go that route. To me, Sanders makes a more of a key to me because I don't feel like he's going to impede the progress of the young guys. You can still keep a young guy on the roster. Maybe you go a little bit long when you're talking about the 53 or 55 man roster. Maybe you go a little bit long, but I still feel like you want to add that. But I think what the Cowboys are going to do is roll with those young players in the preseason, see how they kind of work, and if it looks kind of the bad on the offense is looking very stagnant, I think that's when they'll try to make a move. But I think they're going to roll with their young guys. They said it, and I feel like they have confidence. I don't have as much confidence, but they say they do, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting this year. I think you guys have a mindset of kind of going with these young guys. It's been shown and been said a couple times. Eagles are on a different path right now. It seems like the Eagles are trying to go crazy right now. We do have some young guys going out there playing. Not really. We've had a couple of concussion protocol things, nothing too crazy. We are one of the lighter camps this off season, so it's interesting. I had to ask those questions. You know what I'm saying? I think I would have got beaten up by all Eagles fans if I didn't ask those questions. So it is what it is. I'm not sure what's going on with my lights. I think we're having a strobe or a party over here or something.
It's
But
all
at the end
good.
of the
It's all
day,
good. But I got some questions over there. You asked me.
yeah,
You
go
asked me
ahead.
about
Go ahead.
what's over there in Eagle Lane. What's going on. Over there because we've been hearing. I mean, I just seen a few clips. I'm not jumping up and down about it, but I seen Jalen Hurts throw a couple passes and it was kind of crazy, not hitting the receiver and things of that nature. And then I seen you in a conversation with Laura Brunson when he was talking about the offense was looking good. Jalen Hurts throwing in the middle, and you're kind of like, okay, where are you kind of getting at? So I read that conversation. So kind of how are you feeling right now with camp going on? The thing with Jalen Hurts, that everybody's talking about him, and they're saying from what I've been hearing from Eagles guys that he's taking another step with his leadership. He's taking another step in this offense. He's looking a lot more comfortable. AJ Brown, we know your guys. Tell me kind of what's your thoughts about what you've been hearing about Jalen Hurts and what you've seen from yourself. Is this a hype thing or is this real?
I think it's real. I think that he has gotten better. My biggest thing with Jalen Hurts and with this team in general, and especially with our media, I think that's really where it comes down to, is that we like to champion everything good that happens, every good report that you hear, you champion it and you hear how this guy's been great, but then you don't take in the bad into account as well. Jalen Hurts has been up and down. He has taken another step as far as being a leader. These guys do look at him as that guy, and that's awesome. That's what you want to see. But as far as a passer, we haven't really seen or heard anything that's been crazy one way, and I think that will be answered come preseason, come the actual games and everything. So I think that Jalen Hurts should be talked about. Don't get me wrong. You obviously want to see what he's about, but the Eagles are very closed off, especially of what they let you see, especially at practices. Soon enough, we're going to start having days that are closed off to even media. So it's going to, we really didn't show all of our cards yet. So I'm not one, and this is no, slight to anybody that wants to, have a take like that. It's no offense to my guy Brunson. That's how I put it. You know what I'm saying? Right. I just felt that from where we're sitting, it's hard to really say either way, to be 100% honest with you. We don't really know because we're not really seeing, right? Like Jalen Hurts isn't being asked to do a whole lot of things. It's a lot of stuff that's in front of him. I said this last time. I've said this a couple times. It's a lot of stuff that's going to be right in front of him. A lot of stuff that's going to be easy, kind of just 5-10 yard, slants, quick little outs. It's nothing crazy. So for me to say here and be like, oh, he's gotten way better, how can we really see that? And even if you go down the list of reports, I haven't really seen that he's gotten better. Every report that I've seen is, he's been even. He's about the same. Some have been down. You have 1 or 2 days that he's been up. So I'm just not of the school of thought to really just jump out and be like, oh, he's been way better. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard, that he's been way better. So that's really where I'm at with Jalen Hurts. I have heard that his weapons around him have been making great plays, even all the way down to a Jalen Reagor, down to a Britton Covey, a guy that a lot of people out of Utah didn't really think was going to get a spot on this roster, but he's looking like a guy that might make this team. So I'll say this. I'll say that Jalen Hurts himself, I haven't seen or heard or been told. And I like to talk to everybody. I talk to a lot of different people that go to those camps. And I have not heard one person come to me and be like, Joe, this is what we've been waiting for. I've heard quite the contrary, if I'm being 100% honest. I've heard, look, he's still got a way to go. He's still working on it. He's still getting there. You know what I'm saying? And that's fine. I think there will be a jump, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think Eagles fans should be excited. I think that Jalen Hurts will get better. We just don't know how much yet, and I don't want to jump out the window and be like, oh, this kid's got it. We got us one, because we just really haven't seen enough yet. You know what I'm saying? Or heard or been told or anything yet. This is just so early in the process. Maybe I should be more willing as a fan to jump out the window and be like, oh, he's going to be great. I've been scorned too many times, man. We did this with Carson. We were like, oh, Carson's going to be that guy. And he continuously let us down. So once Jalen goes out there and Jalen, starts playing some ball, and I can sit here and show you some tape, James, right? And I could be like, you see this, right, James? You see this. That's when I'll jump out the window and say he's gotten better. But as of right now, I just can't do it. I can't say it. I really can't.
Yeah, see, and I ain't gonna say it with you, and I appreciate that. It's just the same way that I talk about with Dak. Now, I will say this: I've seen Dak Prescott in this offense, and he looks super confident. Like, it looks like he's going to have a very good year. I mean, he's looking the part. Like, but even now, I still say with Dak Prescott, this is your year that you continually got to finish things. You got to make those big money throws. You got to hit those passes. You got to take it to the next level, because I've said this before, Joe. If the Cowboys want to get to the Super Bowl, their stars are going to have to play ridiculously. They're going to have to play like the best players of the best. And that means Dak Prescott is going to have to play phenomenal. He's going to have one of those phenomenal type seasons for the Cowboys to win. So it can't be the gun shyness, can't be holding the ball, can't be throwing behind the receivers. He's got to be all the way on point. And I'm not getting down on him. I'm just asking more of him, because you are the guy. You are the man. You got paid that. So we need to be able to see you finish these drives when you're playing these tough games, bring those home. And it's not all on Dak. It's got to be the whole team. But I like I said, I still want to see him take a next step, so I can feel you with that. Now, one last thing I want to ask you about the Eagles before we head off and do our other thing is about Jordan Davis. I've been hearing a lot of reviews, obviously your rookie class, but what's the kind of word on Jordan Davis? Is he been that guy? Is he everything that y'all thought when y'all drafted him? Kind of your thoughts on him.
As of what I'm hearing, this is one dude I probably will jump out the window a little bit in what I'm about to say right now. I've been hearing some crazy things about this young man, and I knew he was going to be really good. I think that the knock on him, and he even said it in one of his press conferences, that he's trying to learn how to go forward. In Georgia, they really asked him to just eat up blocks, kind of be, a cleanup crew, let your linebackers do their job, let the guys on the outside do their job as pass rushers. So, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But I feel like he's getting there. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything that I've heard, he is premier at. Like, we knew he was going to be a dominant run stopper, and I think that he's already that. I think everything we thought about that is true, and he's shown that. But what has been very interesting to me is how good he actually has been as far as a pass rusher. Again, I don't feel like he's there yet. I feel like he's still got some, work to do, but the physical traits are just even more impressive when you see it in live person, right? When you're able to see him pushing back 400-pound linemen, but then you're also able to see him sidestep, the quicker linemen that we have. So it's like, it's not just the brute strength that we all knew he had. It's this kid got it all. He can really do it all. He has the strength. He has the speed, especially for his size, but even not for for my size. I can't move how he's moving. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that it's like you look at everything, you put it together. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. And you look at how we're going to use him. And I feel like Jonathan Gannon and Tracy Rocker, we had some switch ups when it came to our front office. We have a new defensive line coach, and our defensive line coach kind of oversees the whole defense. It's weird how they kind of sectioned it up, but there's like sub coaches for our defensive line now. So I'm hoping that means that they're going to be more intricate, job details, right? Like I feel like when you have this many coaches, you're going to focus on what Jordan Davis's job is with a coach. You're going to focus on what Fletcher Cox, what the guys on the outside, what their job's going to be as a coach. So I'm hoping that this is going to be crazy on this defensive line. That's what I'm really hoping for, and I think that he's going to kind of be the marquee of that. The future is very, very bright when it comes to Jordan Davis. I am very, very excited about it. Like I said, I'll jump off the roof for him. I'll jump out the window for him. I think he's going to be a dog. I don't know if a defensive tackle's ever won Rookie of the Year, so I don't know if I should just say that, but he's going to be somebody we're going to be talking about for a while, big dog. I'll tell you that much. I'm excited for him.
I will agree with you. The same way you gave my dog, who we have, who is a generational player on our squad, and Micah Parsons. You can't deny him. No matter if you hate the Dallas Cowboys, you cannot deny what Micah Parsons is. What he is totally a different animal. Dallas got blessed with him. I don't think we understood how good he was when Dallas first drafted him. But once we all seen how good of a player he was, we're like, okay, this dude is super special. And Dallas got a generational type player. I will jump out there and say, as much as I don't like your Eagles, I will definitely say when with the Jordan Davis was the real deal. They had been talking about him when he went back to school. Everybody was surprised. He came back. You saw what he did at the Combine. You saw what he did at Georgia. And I feel like he's going to be a big problem, not for just the NFC East, but the whole NFL. He's going to be kind of like the Vita Vea type. I think he's going to be a dog like that. And I think he's going to cause a lot of problems in the NFL for a lot of teams in the future.
Yeah, I honestly, and again, I'm jumping out the window on this, but I think Vita Vea is his floor. Like, I really do. I feel like if he can get his sack numbers to where his body type is, does that make sense? Like, if he can get his, play to where all those numbers with the 40-yard dash, the 3-cone, like if his numbers in the sack game becomes that we have generation, like I don't think we've ever seen anything of like what he can realistically be. Like somebody that big, that strong, that quick. So, again, I'm very high on him.
You drinking the Kool-Aid.
That's one guy I feel a little bit more comfortable drinking that Kool-Aid. Shout out to everybody in here, man. We got 30.
Chat is booming.
We got 90 people in here. I said 30 people. I can't count. Yeah, we got 90 people in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. So it's a link. So I dropped the link in both chats. If you're in James' chat, if you're in my chat, if you're in James' chat, you're going to have to like copy and paste it and put it into your web browser. You can do it without audio. Without video. You can do with video, whatever you want to do. There's a link in his. There's a link in mine. So if you do want to join, if you want to call in, ask a question. This is how we're going to do it so that if there are a lot of people, we can kind of get everybody in and out. Come in. We'll give you about 2-3 minutes, ask a question, whatever you want to talk about. We'll give you our answer.
Don't go ham.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna jump out there already. We got the call in line. You'll be seeing it momentarily, as you say with Joe. If you can give me the number, I can post it too.
Yeah, I got
whatever, however you want to do it. But I just made that post right there because that's my dog Mel Hayes, and he just put that on. I want to make sure you saw that. He said fucks with Joe.
I appreciate that.
And that's my real dog for real. He goes hard in the paint. So shout out to him. But like we were saying, if you call in, ask the question. Don't get crazy with it. Just ask the question, jump off, and then we can go ahead and answer it, to the best of our knowledge of what we can do. Because we want to keep this for everybody that can do it.
Yes, sir. So let me post the link in my chat real quick.
Get that up. But while this is going on, I think you had some surprises. I mean, who maybe some camp guys you've been hearing about? Let's talk about the offensive side. We all obviously know about AJ Brown. We all obviously know about the pickup. But maybe from the offensive side, any young players that you offensive line, anybody you're talking about that's maybe been a camp center that's raised your eyebrow?
Yeah. I was talking a little bit about Britton Covey earlier. Britton Covey is a guy that I think that the Eagles are in a position that we obviously have our top 4 at the wide receiver position kind of solidified, right? You got your Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Quez Watkins, and your Zach Pasco, who Zach Pasco just finally came back to practice, was looking pretty good in his first practice back. So that's positive. That's something good to hear. But Britton Covey is a guy that's now battling with Jalen Reagor, right? Jalen Reagor, our former first round pick, he's had some rough years. He's had some really rough years with the Eagles, and he's had some really rough games against the Cowboys in particular. But he was somebody that we felt at the very worst he would be a very good to elite punt returner, kick returner. He hasn't even been that for us. Been very disappointing, like I said, in the actual offense. Britton Covey brings you that punt return. He's been kind of dominating the snaps in practice as a punt returner, but he's also been, just yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, he finally started seeing some snaps with the ones as a slot wide receiver. I don't think he'll be a guy that, realistically sees time over Quez, sees time over, Zach Pascal as far as the offense goes, but I could definitely see him getting some time. There have been some people like Barrett Brooks, one of our he's an Eagles reporter now. He used to be, I believe, an offensive lineman for us. He said that he feels like give this kid 2 or 3 years. He's only 25, that he could be the next Wes Welker. I don't know if I go that far, but he does have he's that type of player, I'll say. He's a very quick in and out of his routes. He's very technically sound, very small, right? He's like 5'8", I think, and like 170 soaking wet. So he's very small, very, quick in and out of his routes. That's really where he's going to have to shine. But if he makes this roster, which I think he has a chance to, it's going to be off the back of the special teams prowess. So that's somebody that I think you should definitely be looking at, especially when it comes to Cowboys games. We'll see why. Yeah, Cowboys games, I feel like, always comes down to a random play by a random player at a random time. He could be that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he has a chance to be that guy. And you even look at the offensive line. We got Cam Jurgens, right? Cam Jurgens is a guy that we picked up, I want to say, in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure second round. He's supposed to be the heir apparent to Jason Kelsey. Seems like they're just keeping him there. Like last year, we remember when we got Landon Dickerson, they kind of moved into guard and try to see what he can do. Doesn't seem like we're doing that with Cam Jurgens. So while it's not like somebody you got to watch out that might be playing for you, it is kind of interesting to know that a second round pick might not even be in the plans to start, let alone, actually out there, working with them. So we'll see what happens. Those are probably the two names that kind of surprised me the most that we haven't really, on one side, been seeing a lot of, and then on the other side, we've been seeing like an explosion of. But Jalen Reagor's been doing well too. Jalen Reagor, I think, leads our team in touchdowns. I mean, it's practice. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these numbers right now, it's cool to be able to like throw numbers around, right? But like, they don't really mean anything for a little while. So we'll see.
Now, see, with me on my end, you mentioned that the guy, and you were saying special teams, small guy. The Cowboys got a guy that I'm impressed with, that I really like, and they just brought him over, and he came over from the USFL. I think he was the MVP. What's his name? Turpin. What's his name? Let me get it over here.
For your guys?
Turpin. Yeah. Now we got him right. Now, here's the thing. He's little. I don't care though, Joe. He's like 5'9", maybe 5'10", 155. He little, but that's okay. That's what you want, because I just feel like his size is going to work. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain players, like you saw with Darren Sproles. There's certain players with that size, it'll just work. I just feel like he won't be a guy that's going to get smashed or if he takes a big hit, he's going to be out. I don't feel like he's the type of player that's going to take those big hits. And I feel like Dallas picked up a sneaky pick with him. They signed him. Obviously, you're not going to be using him as a receiver all the time. We understand that, but you can use him on some plays, surprise the defense with some plays. But I really feel like his punt return ability, I said if Dallas keeps him for this year, I said he's going to take 2 back to the house. He has those feet. When you see him, he has them quick feet, that quick acceleration, that that type of speed that he get up on you. You know, those little players, when they catch it, they get up on you out of nowhere. You can't keep up with that. Dallas has been missing that type of element for a very, very, very long time, Joe.
Like a Cole Beasley almost, right?
Oh, no, it ain't even, because Cole Beasley to me was never a punt returner. They kept on trying to morph him into that because he was small, but he never had the speed. Cole Beasley never wanted to run because he didn't want to get hit. You could tell when he ran the ball, he didn't want to get hit. So he would always kind of hit the ground. It's just like he didn't want that life. This kid knows that this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to embrace this. This is the role I want to be great at. And I feel like if the Cowboys really give him an opportunity and he really starts getting some plays here and there, he's going to be a difference for us. And I really think that's a difference for special teams. Obviously, we're talking about right now. Dallas is also having issues with the kickers. I can't even remember one of their names, but they've been kicking terrible, and everybody in Cowboys land has been crying about the field goal kicking. You had some guys, Kai Forbath. There have been people they've been talking about. We'll see what happens with that. Field goal kickers, to me, are still a dime a dozen. You can get one guy who's supposed to be the greatest in the world. Something gets in his head, and the next thing you know, he misses 5 in a row. We saw you had Greg Zuerlein. He was supposed to be the answer to everything, and he was tripping. So I don't put that much stock in the field goal kickers. Let's kind of see how that plays out. But that one player in particular, Joe Turpin, I feel like that's a big asset because Dallas has been missing that on the special teams, especially the return ability. We haven't had that in a long time. And that is huge if you can have that, because that's field possession. That changes the sides of the field. And if they can get you closer to where you don't have to drive 50, 60 yards of play, and you can get the ball on the opposing side of the field and score within 2 or 3 plays, that puts pressure on that offense and the team. So I think that's a great pickup for Dallas already.
Yeah, and the same goes with Eagles, man. Look, Jalen Hurts, no matter where you sit on the fence about how you feel about his progression or what he needs to be next year or what he was last year, even, he needs short fields. Every NFL quarterback loves short fields. I won't say they all need it, but every NFL quarterback thrives, or at least they should, in short fields. The Eagles have not had any help when it comes to that. And somebody in the comments actually brought up that our new special teams coach is kind of suspect. He is kind of sad. I mean, Michael Clay, cool. He a brother. Shout out to him. But yeah, I won't blame it on him entirely because I feel like our special teams has been taking a dip even prior to when he came. But like, my thing is, if you don't have a good punter, if you don't have a good returner, you're screwed. Like, you can almost walk around, you can kind of play around having a bad field goal kicker. Like, there's very, I don't want to say rare times, but there's obvious, like, certain situations where you really need a kicker that's just solid, right? But you don't need a great one. You just need one that can make the kick. How many times are you really going to be out here asking people to be Justin Tucker hitting from 66? You know what I'm saying? That's very rare. So, like, I feel like you have to invest in that, you know, in that area of having a very good punter, having a good return guy. So I talk about Britton Covey, you talk about y'all guy. Our punter is another big question mark for the Philadelphia Eagles. I hope he's not watching this. I hope none of his family's watching this. I did have him on the show last year. Awesome guy. Don't get me wrong. Aaron Sippis was really impressive throughout the first couple weeks of the season. And then I don't know what happened. Something just like he wasn't pinning them deep. He wasn't really getting the leg on him that he was early on in the year. So that's something that, again, and it's crazy. That's why I love this show, though, because we can sit here and talk about special teams. Special teams, while it's not as important as it was prior, right? Like the Devin Hesters. Exactly. Like the Devin Hesters and guys like that might not have a life in this type of league, but it still matters. It's still huge, you know? So, I mean, we'll see what happens. There was games that we lost games because of our, you know what I'm saying, special teams or lack thereof. So I guess we'll see what happens, man. I don't know. I got hype about that because I get to be upset because it's like, man, I feel like every time I get a player on the channel, they have like a good couple weeks, and then I don't know. I had Ryan Kerrigan, and he just forgot how to play football. Remember? It's like, bro, come on, man. That making me look bad.
I mean, it's all good. And you know what I'm saying? Maybe that just happens. But like I said, field goal kickers, and they just, to me, like you said, I feel like you don't have to have the world's greatest field goal kicker. You just got to have somebody that's pretty solid. So we'll see how it pans out. It is practice for them. We'll see how it happens in games because that's where you're going to really see the real pressure. I know it's pressure right now, but we'll see what happens in real games. But, you know, like we said, special teams does matter. I think, like I said, punt returning matters, kick returning, field position does matter with special teams. Nobody talks about special teams until you're terrible at it.
Exactly.
But, you know, Dallas picked up a great punter in Brian Anger. He was rated number 2 in all PFF. I know we don't hold those with a grain of salt, but he was booming those kicks. I mean, he was pinning those guys back. He was giving Dallas great field position, and nobody was really talking about it until you saw it in the games when you're booming a kick and then you're pinning that team behind the 20-yard line, and then they have to take it all the way down the field. If you're shanking kicks or you're kicking short kicks and they're getting the ball at the 40-yard line, you know, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense now because now they have half of the field to deal with, okay, and it makes it easier for them. So when you have a punter that can really boom it like that, a kicker that can really kind of kick it in the end zone, gets touchbacks, it just really helps your team as a whole. So shout out to Dallas for getting Brian Anger I think he's going to be another good addition. But we'll see what happens going forward.
I hope he's trash. I hope he's absolute
Nah,
But so we have our first call in, man. It's my guy Vincent Wright. We're at 125 people between all the channels. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and click the link, guys, if you want to jump in, ask a quick question. We'll get it popping. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, let's get it in, man. Let's get Vincent on this show real quick. Let's see what he got to ask. What's going on, Vincent? What's going on? Can you hear me good? I think you muted. Can you hear us? Can you hear him, James? Is it just me?
I can't hear nothing.
Make sure you got permission. You gave permission to the mic. Let me see. Yeah, it won't even let me do anything. Yeah, still nothing. Is it through your headphones? Maybe try without your headphones. Oh, I can hear me now. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I can't hear nothing. Joe should have did some damn test runs. He went straight.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you, but you sound a little different.
What just happened?
What?
Right? What just happened?
I don't know.
Hello, can you hear me? Hold on, let me try something.
Joe is doing this all straight, like on the fly. So don't trip, stay in the feed. He's getting this all together. He'll be right back in. But if we're going to talk about, until Joe comes back in, really appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure, like we said, hit that like button. Joe will be back in temporarily. I know he's trying to get this call line and everything together. But I want to talk a little bit about these Cowboys right quick, and what everybody's been seeing on the training camp side. How do we really feel about the receiving core, the linebacking core? How's the team look? I've been hearing a lot of things about Terrence Steele, but if I'm going to jump on the offensive side right quick, my quick thoughts on the offense is just what Mike McCarthy said about this offense is that it's going to be behind the defense. I think this defense is going to. I'm excited. That's the one thing I will say I'm excited about. I'm not drinking no Kool-Aid for the Cowboys this season at all, none. But I will say I am definitely excited about the defense on the Cowboys and what it's going to bring to the table, especially year 2 with Dan Quinn. Getting Dan Quinn. Now? I hear you, but I can't see you, dog. Get back in here. Yeah, for real. I can't see you at all.
What is going on with my stuff, man?
I don't know, but I hear you. I think we hear you, but we can't see you.
What is going on?
See, you try to be freaky with it, dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to get cute with it, and now look.
Yeah, yeah. So don't even take no more calls. Just get back in the show and let's finish.
Can you see me now?
No, I can't see you. But no more calls. Just get back in the show.
Mickey says he can see me.
He said, "Oh, I see you now." Okay, there you go.
All right, bet. All right, we're gonna try this again another time. I'm sorry about this. You can be the first person. I promise, but I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to get better at this. We tried and failed miserably.
He tried it on the fly, folks. So don't hold him to the fire. He tried it on the fly. What I'm saying? Don't hold Joe to the fire. Like, oh man, it was. Hey, that's what it is. Y'all be good. We still got good Cowboys, Eagles stuff to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. We still got 130 people in here, so shout out to all y'all. I appreciate y'all. My fault about that. But Vincent, if you do have a question, definitely ask it in the comments, and I'll get to it.
But I did see a question from Leon. I didn't get to post it, but I will ask. He did ask if I was correct. Leon asked, throw your questions in here. If we can't, since we don't have the phone line, throw your questions in here. We'll pull them up and we'll ask them as quick as we can. But he did ask about Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott playing in the preseason. How do you feel about that?
That's a great question, actually. And that was actually a question I wanted to pose to a lot of my Eagles fans and see how they felt about it personally. And that's all I could really talk about is how I would feel about it, because I don't know how this team even feels about it yet. For Dak, it's probably a way different answer. You guys kind of know what you're getting out of him, and I don't know what you really earn or learn or gain, however you want to look at it, from playing Dak Prescott. Maybe, get a couple series in there just to kind of get his blood flowing, kind of get used to having a helmet on and being out there with your boys. But I don't think that you need that many snaps for him this preseason. Jalen Hurts, I'm on the fence. Last year we didn't really see much of Jalen Hurts. I don't think it affected him. I don't think it was like he started off slow. I don't think this team started off slow necessarily. We went out there and dogged the Atlanta Falcons. Everybody, an Eagles nation thought we were going to be the next great, whatever you want to call it. So it is what it is. So personally, I would love to see him play some because I want to see that, progression and see where he's at. If the question is, do I think that the organization will play him? I think sparingly, if at all. I think maybe he'll get a couple of snaps in there or a couple of series in there, but I don't think they'll really play him that much, especially looking at you still have a Reed Sinnett, who's our like third or fourth guy. You still got a Carson Strong, who's like our third or fourth guy. You still have a Gardner Minshew. You probably want to figure out what all three of those guys are about and kind of try and figure out who you want to keep on, who you don't. So I think that they'll probably take over most of the snaps. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but I would love to see Jalen play, but I don't think the organization really cares to see him play in the preseason. I think they'll be okay with not seeing him. It's probably going to be another boring preseason, but how do you feel about Dak playing?
I mean, people want to say Dak should play. Obviously, you got the young receiving core. You want to get the camaraderie with them in game action. I think they'll throw him in there, maybe a few plays, but I don't really need to see him. I don't think we saw him last year, and you saw what he came out against Tampa Bay like gangbusters. He didn't need all that practice, but you did have your veteran guys with you. You did have your Amari Coopers. You did have your Michael Gallups. You did have your CeeDee Lambs. So your receiving core was set. This year, you don't. You have a lot of unknowns. You have a rookie in Jalen Tolbert. You had talking about the Dennis Houstons. You're talking about Simi Fehokos, the TJ Vashers. All these guys need work. So you probably would say maybe like a third preseason game where they take it like the real game is probably when you want to see it. But at the end of the day, those guys, the Dennis Houstons, those guys, are they going to be playing first team? Because that's the only time when Dak is going out there. He ain't going out there with no third team guys. You feel what I'm saying? He's not doing that. So if you're going to play a Dak Prescott, those guys better be starting that game. Like, they better be starting that game. CeeDee Lamb and them better be sitting out, and those guys better be starting. You better have a plan to probably see if you can get a few passes to them early and then move Dak out the way. Because other than that, it makes no sense for even bring him in there to me.
Yeah. I mean, once you get to a certain spot in your career, I mean, it's like it's almost more of a liability than actual. There's no reward where there's like a ton of risk when you put your guy out there. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with our wide receiving core too, to be honest, and our cornerbacks. Like, I don't think that. If I'm the Eagles, I'm not playing Darius Slay or James Bradbury a single snap. We have like 12 cornerbacks. We have like literally like 12 cornerbacks trying to fight for a spot. Play all them. Even play them out of position. Throw some of them at cornerbacks. At safety. Throw some of them at line. I don't give a damn. Do not throw out our veterans out there. Fletcher Cox doesn't need to see any time. If you're going to play, the offensive line gets a little bit weird because it's like I think we're deep enough that you'll still get a good look at what our backups are, even if you don't play our starters. But it's a little bit unfair to the players, if you have a terrible offensive line out there to say, especially the quarterbacks, it's hard to tell somebody go out there and run an offense when you can't even snap the ball half the time. We saw that with Carson Wentz when we put Carson Wentz out there with our third team, offensive line. He broke a rib like in the first playoff or preseason game. So that's what worries me a little bit about the offensive side. But defensive side, y'all don't play nobody. I don't care if we give up 100 points every game. I do not care. Don't play. Only people I want to see play are the rookies and linebackers. Outside of that, I'm good. Like, I don't want to see Darius Slay. I don't want to see Jaquiski Tart. I don't really want to see James Bradbury, Avonte Maddox. I know what they are. Like, I'm good. I know what they're going to bring me. Go out there and just put a bunch of young guys out there. I mean, preseason's so boring now anyways, right? Like, we don't really really get anything during
I mean,
preseason.
I don't think it is boring because I want to see those young players. So it's not boring to
Yeah,
me because
yeah.
I want to see these young guys play. So for me, I just feel like if you got the established veterans like the Tyron Smiths who've been doing this 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they don't need to do it. I mean, we've already seen
Yeah.
it. Those guys have played NFL football. This is for your your fringe guys. These are for your guys who you think are going to make the team, and these are for your young drafted players that you're trying to see what's really about. So to me, that's what it was really about to me more than anything about this preseason is seeing your young talent and can they really do it, and that's what it's really about. But I got 2 questions for you, Joe. One, and this is the second one I got up from Mel Hayes, that's my dog, but one was from Tyson Brown. He says, and I'm gonna ask you this because I'm gonna give you my quick answer: is Micah Parsons the best defensive player in the league?
Right. All right. I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to think of people that are better than him. So he's definitely up there. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here and lie and be like, oh, I have 10 people off the top of my head. It's a short list that's above him. I'm gonna say it's 1 year. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that yet. I'm not gonna say he's the best. I definitely think he's up there. I think he's one of the more versatile, definitely as well. I think maybe top 5, top 3. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. I
He's
can't
top
think of like
3.
yeah, he's top 3. I can't think of
He's top
even
3.
so. I can't think of 2 people that I would be like, oh, I definitely want him over of Micah Parsons. Guess it
You
depends on
feel
what you
me?
want. He's definitely up there. He's definitely up there. I can't say best though. I need to see one more year, and if he has another year like he had, and even in the neighborhood, I'm not saying he has to have a exact, same replica year, but if he has another really good year, it's hard to say that he's not. If I'm being honest, who are you going to put ahead of him? Maybe like
Aaron
Aaron
Donald.
Donald.
That's the
Yeah,
only
like
if I'm looking at everybody in the chat, that's the first thing that I would say was Aaron Donald would be the only one because he's the different type of athlete like Micah Parsons. Because if you looked at Aaron Donald's size, he doesn't have the prerequisite size, but what he's done in the NFL has just been nothing short of tremendous. So I'm gonna definitely, and he just came off the Super Bowl and he had the big sack, big play to really end the game. And that just showed you how much of a valuable player. So I still think he's number 1. But if you ask me, in my opinion, right now, Micah Parsons is like 2. And people are
yeah,
saying TJ Watt. I'm sorry. I'm not taking TJ Watt over Micah Parsons.
he can't cover as well. I might
I'm
be
just not
talking
saying
on my rear end on that. I might be talking. I'm not gonna.
and TJ Watt is a dog. I'm not taking nothing away from no daggone TJ Watt. He is an animal. But I'm sorry. I'm just not. If you said, who you taking, TJ Watt or Micah Parsons, that's something you will fight with in your brain.
I would take Micah. I mean,
Me too.
maybe I shouldn't say
You
that on
would.
my.
You
Maybe I
would.
shouldn't say that out
You
loud,
would.
especially
It's the
with the.
truth.
But
It
I
don't
would. I
matter.
would take Micah. I would take Micah in a
He's the
heartbeat.
second best player in the league right now. And if he, like you said, the only thing that's holding him back from you saying that is because it's only been 1 year. So that's why everybody's looking for see if he's going to duplicate it. And like you said, if he comes anything close in the neighborhood of what he did last season, you got to say it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I can't deny that. Shout out to my guy Kevo. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got 140 people in here between everywhere. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. If you go into the little description, if whatever channel you're on, you'll see my channel. You'll see James' channel. Definitely go to the other channel. Show love. Say Cowboys suck it when you go to James' channel. Say the Eagles suck when you come to mine.
Eagles are
he
bums.
was like, you better say that.
Eagles are bums. The Eagles
He was
are
like, don't
bums.
forget that. But shout out to my guy Kevo. He did try to Kevo. Excuse me. He did try to jump into the call in. We're having a little bit of issue. The issue is me, apparently. But Kevo, I appreciate the super chat. $5 says, "What up, Brody? I want to see Dean Davis and Kyron Johnson." Kyron, that's a name I should have brought up.
Yeah.
He just came back to practice as well. I'm excited for him.
He's the undersized defensive end, right? From is it Kansas?
No, that's oh yeah, you're right. I was thinking of Kaiser White. You're right. This is Kyron Johnson from Kansas. Yep. He's the undersized dude. But yeah, I think he's gonna play more outside linebacker, kind of like what they do with Reddick, you know what I'm saying? I think he'll be kind of that along that line. I'm looking forward to Kaiser White though. Kaiser White just came back to practice. I want to say, if not last practice, but this most previous practice, or the previous practice before that, whatever. I can't talk. So we'll see what happens. I want to see how he is because that's the dude that I've been hearing some really good things about. Everybody keeps telling me how great he was in Chargers land. So I want to see it. Now, I don't know if you got a birthday coming up or an event coming up, my dude. You know what I'm saying? But my birthday is next week. My birthday's Sunday, right? So I'm getting. I know you're like, what the heck is this boy talking about? I'm having my boy Kevo. Shout out to him. I'm gonna have to use this $5 for it now. I'm having him and his wife make me a 3D cake topper for like my for my like podcast logo. So if anybody's having a event coming up, shout out to them, man, because I'm excited for that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited
Yeah,
too, and happy early birthday to you. But
I
come on,
appreciate you.
let me get this question here because I want to answer this, and let's hit these super chats right quick
Oh yeah,
because I
yeah, yeah.
want
Do
you
you
to
think?
get answer this quickly. You feel me? Now, this is from my dog Mel. Hey, he says, Joe, what are 3 reasons from your end the Eagles win the NFC East? And he asked me to answer the same question. 3 reasons why you think the the Eagles will win the NFC East. Go.
Defense. And I'll put it, I'll say it just like that. I think our defense is going to be much improved, and I think that will show. So I think that will make it to the playoffs and be a good team, a way better team than last year. Because of that reason, yeah. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. It's his birthday today. Second is going to be our offensive weapons, and I'm going to generalize the first two, and then the last one I'll give you a specific player. But the first two, I'm going to say our defense, and then our offensive weapons is going to be the number 2 for me. I think that you look at what we have on the at the wide receiver position, it is probably the best that the Eagles ever had. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. I think this is probably the deepest wide receiver room that we've ever had. You add a really good tight end to the group, you add a really, really good top 2 offensive line to that. You add a progressing, quarterback. Hopefully he takes that next step. And I think that you have something scary. You have, again, last year we ranked as the number 1 run offense. So I think you add all that together. Even if Jalen Hurts isn't, the greatest quarterback in the world, you're giving him all these weapons. So I think it'll help his development. The third is actually going to be a coach. All right. I know somebody probably wants me to say, Jalen Hurts is going to take that next step. I'm gonna say Shane Steichen. Reason I'm going to say Shane Steichen is because last year when he took over duties to play call, and now he's going to do it full time, full season. Last year when he took over the duties, you saw him mold his offense to what these players did well. It was obvious, and it was, so far to the running, side of it, which is fine. But I feel like, and I have confidence in him that he will make the right decisions with these weapons that he's given. I don't think he's going to say, just because we have these players, this is what we have to do. I think that if you go out there in the first couple of weeks, we're not playing that well, he's going to change the mindset of this team to make them play well. So I think that you look at the defense, it's going to be much improved. The offensive weapons are some of the best that we've ever had as an organization. And I mean that, at least that in my time. And then you look at Shane Steichen, I think that he will be the guy that kind of leads this offense in the right direction, whatever that direction may be. So those are my 3.
Well, my 3 would be basically coaching staff number 1. Will they be able to get over the hump, or is this Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy thing figured out? If they figure that out and they come in with an offense that's a little more dynamic, is not more predictable, it can give you a counter punch when it gets hit in the mouth, maybe gets stopped a little bit. That's going to be a key for me for winning the East. If they continue to morph that offense into being explosive, you got a lot of moving parts now. You don't have the Amari Cooper, you don't have the Cedric Wilson, so you are missing players. Blake Jarwin, who was your tight end last year, he's now not your tight end. You're dealing with rookies. So you got a lot of moving parts right there. So how they really put those things together, how they implement Tony Pollard, who is on his last year of his deal, are they going to really expand his role? So I think really the coaching staff and what they're really going to do. Number 2 for me, you could have it as 1, but this defense, as you said, with your defense, we saw what this Dallas defense did. They led the league in turnovers, interceptions. They had the turnover to positive to negative differential. I think was the best they had it in 20 years on the defensive side. So Dan Quinn has year 2 with all these guys, you got Micah Parsons, Trevin Diggs, you got a foundation. I think you drafted well again in this 2022 draft. So I think that right there is going to really be the key. This defense taking even another step. It can be a top 5 defense, but we got to see how that middle really holds up with the 0 and the 1 text. Those young guys, if they can really be the key in that middle, this Dallas defense is going to be outstanding this year, and it's going to cause a lot of problems to a lot of teams. And then my third is going to be the young players, how these young players step up. Dallas is putting a lot of faith in these young players. You got, like I said, a lot of young undrafted players on the receiver side. There's young players on the defensive side, more on the offense. The offensive line, it's in flux. You lost Aleo Collins. Connor Williams is gone. So now you're seeing Tyler Smith, who was drafted in the first round. He's playing your guard. Terrence Steele, who's in year 2. They say he's struggling a little bit. He's going to be in year 2 of a starter. You have moving parts with a Josh Ball. He was your draft pick last year as a 4th round. He might be your swing tackle. Matt Farinock, who might be your backup center. Connor McGovern. So really those young players right there that play along the offensive line and the young players as a whole, the receiving core, how they really step up is going to be huge. If these guys can kind of hit the ground running, especially with the offensive line and your receiving core, that's going to be huge, and that's what's going to really make the Cowboys go.
I respect that. It's going to be fun. I will say this. I think the one thing that scares me about the Cowboys, because I do feel like you have taken a step back on paper, and we've talked about this, and it is what it is. But I feel like there's so much pressure on this coaching staff for you guys. Like, if you guys don't take that next step, win another game, win, a playoff game, it could be night for a lot of your coaches. So I feel like that's the only thing that kind of worries me, is that like these guys know that this is their last possible chance, right? So that's one thing that I will say as far as Eagles fans, we should probably be kind of taking note of, because these guys are kind of going, they're going to throw everything.
Now, I hear what you
do, and I will
not.
not.
I hear what you're saying. We take a step back. I don't think it's major.
It's not the same team.
It's not, but it's not a major step back, Joe, where you're looking like, oh my God, the Cowboys aren't going to be able to do anything. Yes, you lost Amari Cooper. That was big, but it wasn't so big of a step back where you're feeling like, oh, this team can't win the East again. It wasn't that big of a step back. You still have the best quarterback in the division. No, you still have the best quarterback.
You put everything together. You do. I respect that, but you put everything together. The Eagles got way better on paper. Dallas Cowboys took a step back on paper, right? Yeah, I can't lie.
Not on defense.
On offense, yeah.
Not on defense.
But did your defense get better? I mean, you sideways stepped, I guess, on your defense.
I mean, if you're looking at, you got guys that on the paper. I mean, you got draft picks. You're talking about a Jordan Davis. I mean, we got a Sam Williams, who I think is eventually could be good. I'm not going to sit there and say Dante Fowler is trash. I'm not going to sit there and say he's putting you over the hump. But with you also got to look at when Fowler played with a good team with the Rams, he got 11 sacks. When he had a good team, when he had played with the Jacksonville Jaguars and everything was on him, it wasn't as great. But now he doesn't have that pressure, right? He's going to have a Sam Williams. He's going to have a Dorrance Armstrong Jr. He's going to have a Micah Parsons. He's going to have a Chauncey Golston. He's going to have a DeMarcus Lawrence. He's going to have guys that can be able to rotate and be able to attack the defense. And Dan Quinn is going to put him in the spots to make him great. So the good thing about that is, even though he's not one of those outworldly players, he is a good pickup because he's 27 years old. He has got over a 10-sack season when he's got good players with him. And I think that makes the difference. Just like with DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't think he's the man. I think Micah Parsons is. But guess what? DeMarcus Lawrence was better when you got a Micah Parsons. That made DeMarcus Lawrence better. So I feel like that's the same thing that will happen with a Dante Fowler. You get guys around him, now he becomes a better player. So I don't think our defense regressed. You brought both of your safeties back who had a career year, pretty much both of them, in Jaron Kearse and Malik Hooker. You picked up an Anthony Barr to solidify your linebacking core. You still have Trevin Diggs, who he's still growing. You have a Kelvin Joseph. Anthony Brown came off a career year. Your cornerbacks aren't, we say, outworldly, but they have talent. So I don't look at our defense taking a step back. You could just look at our receiving core and maybe the offensive line as maybe where the step back took a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll say, I don't say that your defense took a step back. I think they sideways stepped. I don't think that they've gotten necessarily better. It's got second year under your coaches. I can understand that that's a step forward no matter what. So I'll give you that. I'll say at the very, very least, having them back for the second year does make them a little bit better. But as far as on paper, adding players, he didn't do anything to the defense. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Barr, isn't he hurt right now? You know what I'm saying? And
No, he ain't
isn't
hurt. And,
Trayvon? I heard. Why did I hear that? What
don't
was
do
it?
that.
Can you actually clear that up? Yeah, can you actually
What?
before I start talking junk about something I didn't
Mhm.
actually know? I did hear that something was up with Anthony Barr about the pup list. I didn't really like look in depth in that. I wanted to ask you about
Now,
that.
you, Joe, how long we been knowing football? You know the PUP and the pup list is some damn near normal. You know that's normal, daggone. And you just came over from Minnesota. He's not hurt. He's just getting acclimated. He's just getting in the shape that you need to. So you put him on the physically unable to perform list because he's getting acclimated. Nothing's wrong with him. He's okay. So we ain't tripping in Cowboy land about that. They knew that before they came over here. So everything's good in a go. And they're going to just bring him along slowly. I don't even see him playing no preseason games because he ain't got to. So why jump in here and make him do all this and that? He's a veteran. You bring him in, let him get in shape and get ready for game time.
Isn't pup like a 4-week thing though? Am I wilding? Am I wrong about that?
I mean, if it is, you haven't played any preseason games, so that doesn't matter to me.
That's why I'm saying it probably is just we don't need you during the preseason. I wanted to know. That's why I didn't retweet it. That's why I didn't,
I
at you on that one.
appreciate that.
You know,
I appreciate that. You jump out there starting rumors.
But your boy Diggs, man. What's up with your boy Diggs, man? You know, I gotta pop a little bit.
I'm gonna address this because they said AJ Brown was giving Darius Slater work too. They just because we ain't got on tape, they say he was giving him the business. So that happens. And like we said, we talking about practice. But
AJ Brown,
not a game, not a game,
whatever his name is,
not a game, not a game.
I don't know, man. But then he did real question though. All jokes aside. I mean, but he's deleting his social media. Like, all right, I'm gonna shut up now. I'm gonna shut up.
I'm saying I feel that was kind of. But who wants to hear that? If you want to delete this, who want to hear all that daggone noise? You want to hear all that noise in your Twitter, everybody? So you got a video on there, 2 million people on your Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Oh, turn Devin Diggs over. Man, shut up. I'll delete it too. Ain't nobody being scared. Oh, he's soft. Look at him. He weak because he did. No, he tired of hearing all that damn noise. And I would too. It wasn't because I was scared or coward. It's because I want y'all to shut the F up. And I don't want to hear y'all no more. I just want to play my game. I don't have to keep no damn Twitter account if I don't want to. So I don't know why everybody's tripping off that. But as I said before, this is the thing to all I said. I retweeted what I saw, and this is the only thing I said. Trevor Diggs is in my top 10 list of cornerbacks. That ain't changing. Nothing he's done is changing. But what I did say is those things in those film, he did that in college. What I wanted Trevor Diggs to get better at, and I told you this, Joe, that I wanted him to get better at jamming the line of scrimmage. He's 6'2", he's about 210 pounds. He has the physicality, he has the long arms, he has the ability to do it. So I want to see more of that kind of press coverage. Now, depends on what coverage they're running. Cover 2, cover 3, safety help. They like to let him gamble. But the only thing I said is this, that he's got to keep an eye on that because when they're setting him up, because I knew a few of the receivers, Simi Fehoko did this to him, CeeDee Lamb did it to him. They gave him that quick stutter step. And if you watch Trevor Diggs, if you look at him in them plays, he's trying to anticipate. He's watching to see if they're going to stop and try to break the right off so he can try to make a play on the ball. That's the gambling nature he has in him because he's always trying to make a play. Now, sometimes when he's going to do that, he's probably going to have that safety help so he's able to do that. But he's still got to be able to lock that down because this is the thing. Teams are going to see that, and they're going to see that as a tendency. So if they see that as a tendency, they're going to scheme and use routes and things of that nature to try to get him on that because that's what he's biting on. So that's the only thing I'm saying from the Trevor Diggs part is that he continues to get better and keep his eye on that because teams are going to watch that and scheme him and use that against him. So that's the only thing I'm saying. Every cornerback, every receiver, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, they get cooked in practice. It happens. The only alarming thing you should have, Joe, if you're getting cooked every day, if you're getting cooked all the time by a Simi Fehoko, if that's happening all the time, then there's alarm. There's no alarm. This is practice. So there's nothing because we ain't tripping off of Darius Slade getting ate up by AJ Brown because CeeDee Lamb got Trevor Diggs, but AJ Brown, I've been giving old man Slade the business.
Old man Slade. Don't start that.
Old man Slade. I've been hearing old man Slade the busy.
The 50-50. I mean, look, it's practice, right? That's why it's hard.
Oh,
I'm
it's
gonna
practice
talk my
now.
junk. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna talk my junk. You know what I'm saying? When I'm able to, And shout out to Kevo. He just said that Grasshopper Diggs said that Slay taught him everything he knows. That's neither here nor there. But it's funny because I talked about it. I'm giving him like a million shout outs. I promise you, he didn't pay me for this, but his cake company, he had the Diggs brother there actually eating. So Stephon and Trayvon Diggs was eating his food. So he might have actually got some inside information. He probably asked for a Slay jersey. He might have asked for a Slay jersey. You know what I'm saying? I know he probably looks up to him. Hey, we both said it. We both did our didn't we do our top 10 cornerbacks? And I think we both.
Yeah.
I think you had him just in your top 10. I had him just outside. But when we started talking about Xavier Howard, it was right. We were like, this is kind of his ceiling. This is who we can be. And we had him both in our top 5, if I'm not mistaken, or close to. So I think that he's a really good player. I think that you are 100% right. If he can minimize the risk of his, aggressiveness, I think that's the best way of saying if he can minimize the risk of his aggressiveness, I think he can be a top 3 cornerback in this league because it's very rare that you see cornerbacks making that many plays. There's a lot of cornerbacks that get a lot of opportunities to pick balls off. And it's always the, running joke that they're cornerbacks for a reason, right? He was able to make a lot of plays, obviously coming from wide receiver. So I'm sure that helped, but he was able to make a lot of plays. So you match that up with a mentality of not giving up big plays. That's going to be scary. If you can make big plays and not give up big plays, that'll be scary. But that's why we got Big Play Slay. Because he does that. He doesn't give up big plays and he makes big
old
plays.
Man Slay?
Nah, Big Play Slay. You know what I'm saying? You
man,
big game James. He big play Slay.
No, he's old man Slay to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't hating on you, but you old man Slay. They call you whatever over there. I'm calling you old man Slay.
Hey, he's gonna father a lot of these wide receivers. That's what I'll say right now.
We're gonna see.
This is for you though. This was your super chat, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if you want to read that out real quick.
I wanted to read that. You know what I'm saying? Because Mr. Wright, you've been saying that. Okay, I appreciate the $4 holla, the $4.99 holla, but he's talking about big game. James, stop the captors, film on him. Now he's not gonna be able to do the things he did. Well, and you know what? See, that's the word. That's the new word in these days. I wasn't saying that we would say psych or something like that, but yeah, I'll say that word. No, that's big cap on you, Mr. Vincent Wright, because you know damn well, I don't care how much tape they have on Micah Parsons. When you're a great player and you're different, don't matter. And are we right, Joe? It don't matter.
Yeah, I agree.
When you're that different, when you're that totally different generational player, doesn't matter what they do to scheme you. He's so damn good, he's going to be able to blow up that. And you don't think Dan Quinn is sitting there thinking, okay, I just got Anthony Barr. Now I can free up Micah Parsons even more.
Yeah.
Micah's already even talked about it himself. He said, they asked him, do you want to play defensive end full-time linebacker? What's your thoughts on that? He said, no, I don't want to play no defensive end full-time. He said, maybe when I get older, when I get a little bit slower, I'll morph into that. He said, but right now, I want to play a linebacker. You know why? Because I want nobody to get a beat on what I'm doing. I want to be able to find mismatches. I want to be able to let the offense know they don't never know what I'm doing or where I'm going to be at. So you don't think Dan Quinn is going to be doing that with Micah Parsons? So there's not going to be some offense that's going to be able to get this beat on him, because I guarantee you they're going to be constantly moving him around to find the best matchup so where he can destroy that offense, and it's going to happen. So there ain't no damn cap on that dog. Like I know, he's about to be an animal, so stop that.
Yeah, I think his numbers might go down a little bit because last year I don't think you really want him to have to do everything that he did last year. Maybe I'm wrong.
We stay healthy, I feel like he's not going to have to.
Exactly. That's my thing. Like, I don't think you want him to have to be on the line and have to be this and that. A lot of his numbers last year were kind of out of necessity. Don't get me wrong. It's still impressive that he was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? But he'll definitely see his numbers dip a little bit. And I think some fans will equate that to him not having as good of a season, which I don't think is true. So I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. And Micah Parsons, you know how much it hurts, how hard it is for me to sit here and have love for Micah Parsons, especially, being a Penn State fan. It just hurts. It's upsetting. I hate having to tell you that he's good, but he is good. And shout out to the Reaper, because he says 3 interceptions don't deserve that name. Well, 3 defensive touchdowns deserve that name. How about that? How about that? How many touchdowns does Trayvon Diggs have out of all 45 interceptions that he had last year? That's the
He
question I
returned
have.
how many back for touchdowns last year?
Two, I think. Right? He only had
I
two,
think
if
it,
I'm not
I
mistaken.
think it was 3 because he had one
Was
against the
it three?
Patriots. Didn't he
Damn.
return? Didn't he return 2 against y'all this past year?
No,
Yeah,
he
yeah, he
didn't
did.
return them for touchdowns.
Didn't he return 2 against y'all? Didn't he?
Didn't he
had
get one in the
3 this
end
year.
zone? Didn't
Because
he?
I know
Didn't he do
he
one in?
picked up that he got one and we took it back to the house on y'all in the big game when it mattered when we kicked y'all
Yeah, I
butts.
know he
Remember
did it
that?
once. Yeah, I
Right.
know he did it once. But I don't think. I think the
Okay.
other one was in the end zone that he got it. It was a
Okay.
terrible throw. That might have been last year though, the year before. I'm not sure. Jalen Hurts throws way too many interceptions.
But you
2
know the
TDs,
point
11
is when
interceptions.
Darius Slay gets an interception, he's not taking it back to the house like Trevin Diggs. Them is more of I intercepted pass and was straight line.
Yeah, there was no.
line.
Well,
Nobody
not
was there.
necessarily. Not necessarily, because he picked up a fumble. He picked up a fumble and went like across the whole field to get the touchdown.
I'll
So
give you that.
yeah,
Hey,
it was
let me
beautiful, James.
read that super chat because that's a
That's for
$9.99
you.
holler
That's for
talking
you.
about y'all. But you gonna answer this? This is my
I
dog
want you
Taylor
to
Banks.
read that.
He said the Eagles' offensive line don't look the same without Lane Johnson. What's your thoughts?
I think he just wasted $10 to say some fallacy. That's what he did.
Thank
He
you
did.
for the holler. How
You
you
know,
make that? Is it not
he
true?
appreciates the $10, but it ain't true. It ain't true.
It
Nah,
ain't true
I
now.
really don't believe that.
Y'all
It
got Young
does look
Bucks now.
different. It does look different because it's a different name. But yeah, I believe, and I truly believe this. And I said this last year. You can look at some of my videos. I've stood to this, and I do believe this. I think that we are probably in one of the, if not the best positions when it comes to our offensive line. I can tell you right now what our offensive line is going to be probably in the next 3-4 years, right? If you're talking about Jason Kelsey's gone, you're talking about Lane Johnson gone. We're looking at a Jordan Mailata, a Landon Dickerson, a Cam Jurgens. At right guard, it gets a little bit iffy. Like, are you going to have a Nate Herbig? Are you going to slide a Jack Driscoll there? Probably going to draft somebody along the way there. And then right tackle, I have all faith in Jack Driscoll. I truly, and I've heard really good things about Jack Driscoll as far as him. I don't want to say coach's pet because that sounds kind of messed up, but like he's their guy. Like the coaches really like him. The coaches are really behind him, and not just Stoutland. Obviously, Stoutland loves all his guys, but I've heard a lot of I can't talk. Sirianni, I was about to say Steichen. They both sound the same in my head, but Sirianni has lauded about the guy, like he loves the guy. So I realistically, in 2-3 years, we might still have a top 5 offensive lineman and not have 2 Hall of Famers on this team at the offensive line position. Our offensive line is scary.
Okay.
Scary, James. Scary.
And I will. Now, here's the thing. See, that's why we do this podcast. See, we don't want to sit there and just show love to our opponents or anything like that. We don't want to do that because it hurts. You know what I'm saying? But we got to be real in this world. And I will be honest with you. I am looking at that Eagles offensive line within these next few years because it is a lot of young talent and they got size. They're big across the board. That's one thing I noticed, that they're big across the board. So, yes, I'm going to be keeping my eye on that. Because that offense and defensive line, especially with the Jordan Davis, kind of see how that pans out. But, that's why the reason why I feel like the Cowboys really went hard with the Tyler Smith, and they hit him in the first round because when they got Jordan Davis, I feel like that was the obvious choice for the Cowboys to get somebody big and physical because they're probably going to meet up. They're going to probably see each other. And we're going to need that physicality along that line. So, we need to have that defensive line to be able to attack because I do see like if we're looking at offensive lines between all the teams in the NFC East, I would have to say right now, without really knowing Washington, I know a little bit, but I would say they probably may have the best offensive line in the East right now.
Easily. And it's going to be like that for a
while.
I
will have to say that, as much as I hate to say that.
And people, we are injury prone. I will give people that are saying that our offensive line does, face a lot of injuries. We do a lot, but we also have the best offensive line coach in the league. I'll name off some names that you'll probably be like, "Who the heck is that?" And they got multi-million-dollar deals off working with this man. Big V, Halapulituli Valiata. I can't say his name, but they call him Big V. I tried though, but they call him Big V. He went to Detroit, got like 3 year, $33 million. Don't know what the heck happened to the guy. Helped us win a Super Bowl when Jason Peters went down. Lane Johnson he's only thing that worries me is he's like one, Advil away from missing a whole
Mm-hmm.
football season with that
Mm-hmm.
suspension that's kind of looming over his head. But that's been happening for the
He's
past
about
decade.
done. Don't you think he's about
Yeah, so
done though?
it's what it is. So
He's about done.
I feel like Lane Johnson is a great player, and will we miss him? A bunch. We're going to miss Jason Kelsey too, but we will move on. We will get over it. We all thought, once Jason Peters started sucking, it's like the world's falling down. A guy that never played football before, you know what I'm saying? A 7th round pick that used to play rugby, that barely know how to speak English, is now one of the top 5, top 10 left tackles in the league. You know what I'm saying? And just got his contract extension. So I have nothing but faith in this offensive line. That's like my least concern, because I feel like when it does become a concern, they'll address it. Like I don't think that they'll ever be like, well, we only got a couple million, let's just hold off on an offensive lineman. No, they'll figure it out. If we have to go get an O lineman, that's what they're gonna do. We even got a guy, LaRaven Clark, who played for the Colts. He was injured a lot, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's amazing. But I've heard really good things about him, especially that he's starter level, and who knows? I feel like we've gotten the best out of these guys. So I'm cool with our offensive lineman. Matt Pryor is another guy that we were able to trade off that just wasn't playing for us. There's so many guys. I think who went to the Steelers and won a Super, not Steelers. Who was it that left us that played for Penn State as well? Oh, and he won a super. Wisniewski, Stefan Wisniewski. I think he was a guard and slash center, and he played for Penn State. He didn't have that great of a career, but when he came to the Eagles, he was great for our offensive line. So I don't know, it's just recency bias in a certain aspect of it, because that's all I know is us having great offensive lines. So I don't know, until it stops happening, I'm not too worried about it. I really am not too worried about it.
Well, I will tell you this: the games between the Cowboys and Eagles this year are going to be fire.
Yeah,
They're
it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's just going to be it's going to be good games. It's going to be really good games. I can't wait to play y'all. I know y'all chomping at the bit to get at us. I ain't saying we chomping at the bit to get at you, but I think we just want to hush y'all down over there because y'all always
want
talking.
to play us.
Man,
yeah, let's stop all that, man.
Y'all
hate us just as much as we hate y'all.
Only reason why we hate y'all because y'all talk so much. That's the only reason why we hate y'all. Y'all talk so much.
It's
now,
facts.
Cowboys fans talk too. Now let's not say Cowboys Super Bowl. We know the fans. I can't say that, but y'all talk a lot, and y'all always got our names in your mouth. I think that's the main reason why we don't like y'all. And it's not we don't like y'all. Now we over here, we the best enemies. We like y'all here, but I think that's one of the reasons why we be saying we don't like you, friends, because y'all always talking about Dallas. That's what we don't like.
Yeah, but
Stop talking about us, Joe.
I don't think we do. I think it depends on how you. I think it depends on how you look at it. Our generation, and I know this is like kind of going on a crazy tangent. I promise you guys, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. Realistically, you look at how we grew up, and obviously there's an age gap between us even, but you look at what our rivalries were. Excuse me. Like when I was growing up, it was honestly more of the Giants. Like that was more of who I hated, because especially with my family, and for you guys growing up, yours was realistically Washington. That was really more of your rivalry. But like now, I feel like it's kind of going towards where the Eagles and the Giants are. I mean, excuse me, the Eagles and the Cowboys are kind of the only two teams that have been doing anything like sustainably. Like obviously the Giants kind of jump in there and win a Super Bowl out of nowhere, twice, but we're the only teams that are actually every year you can name one or both of us as, favorites to win the division. So I think that now it's becoming more of a rivalry. I don't know if you agree, but I think now it's kind of becoming more of it.
Not my heart. And there's no disrespect. Please, Eagles fans, don't get mad at me. I'm not really trying to talk trash to you. I'm just telling you what I really feel in my heart. Y'all not a rival to us to be. You just haven't been, even in them 80s. It wasn't a rivalry. It was more of y'all always hated us, and we always wanted to beat y'all because y'all hated us so bad. So that's all we always wanted to come at y'all, because y'all always was over the top at your games. I've been through them rivalries in the 70s and 80s, dog. So all these people that been seeing these games in the 90s and 2000s with these Eagles and Cowboys, now it was really real in them 70s and 80s, dog. That's when it was really serious. And even then, I don't know if it was really a rival. It was always like, hey, don't play around with Philly. That's the way we always felt about Philly. Don't play around with them because they hate us. Like they really hate us. So we can't ever just go in there and playing around and playing like we always had to. I feel like when we played the Eagles, definitely had to bring our A game because y'all hate us so much. Just trying to just hurt our players. You know what I'm saying? Y'all evil over there. Y'all just evil sometimes.
We ain't evil. I mean, as long as you ain't Santa Claus, you safe.
Oh man,
Y'all
know what y'all did to Michael Irvin. I ain't try to bring that up, but
yeah.
there's
No, you're right.
lot of evilness. So I think that's what makes it so Cowboys, Eagles. Y'all always talking about us, and we always want to just shut y'all up. So I think that's what makes it so staticky about us going against each other.
I love how, like what half hour ago everybody was like, "Yo, Joe's cool, man. I like he's cool for Eagles fan." Now everybody hate me in the chat.
They probably say the same thing about me. Like Big Game was cool, but now he over there talking that stupid stuff reckless. I ain't dealing with him.
I still love y'all though. I still love y'all, but we about to wrap this up, man. We tried the call in. I tried the call in. It didn't work. But we're gonna try again.
We'll try it again.
We'll try it again. I'll do I'll do maybe like a phone call or something like that. We'll go back to old school. Get one of those rotary phones, you know what I'm saying, that you gotta press pound and stuff. Cool. But anyways, but either way, man, we still got 140 people in here. We appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. Like I said earlier, go into the description. If you're on my channel, go over to James' channel, hit that like, subscribe. Same thing on James. Go to his description, check out the channel, like, subscribe. Grow the family. Let people know that the best of enemies is here. And this is the last time, James, that we will not have football to talk about. Next Sunday, we will have actual games. I don't care if they're preseason. It's still real to me, right? Mm-hmm. It's still real to me. Mm-hmm. We're going to have some football to talk about. So I am excited about that, James. We went through all this boring off-season stuff. Kind of made it fun. I think that we made it fun for ourselves and for our audience. So I'm happy about that, proud about that. But now it's over, man. The wait is over. The hate is here. I'm excited. So you got anything you want to say to these beautiful people before we get out of here?
Just like you said, it's here now. It's real. The hate is here now. You know, we was the Best of Enemies podcast. We all loving for since April, May. You know, we just showing each other love. Now you're gonna start seeing a little bit of hate coming out. Now you're gonna see start seeing some of the thoughts and the feelings start coming out when we start doing this. But man, hey, this has been fire once again. Shout out to my Mickey Cox, all everybody that's been in the chat, been booming. Y'all been going hard in the paint. But please go out there and support this like no other right now, because like you said, we did all the preseason stuff. We did all the draft. We did all the free agency. We did all that. Now it's time to talk some real football. So you are going to love this even more, because now we got games to break down, Joe. We got stuff to really talk about with other teams. We got to really get to talk about AJ Brown. We get to really talk about the young players we've been talking about. So now it's going to be even more exciting for y'all to support this even more, because now we can really talk about game action on both sides. And then when we finally meet, that's going to be like no other. So man, keep on hitting that like button, keep on hitting that follow button, because the Best of Enemies is one of the best shows out. Facts.
Easily. With that intro, it's hard to beat. Really is hard to beat.
You can't.
It really is hard to beat. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. You guys are absolutely amazing. I love this chat. This is always mad fun. But either way, we about to get out of here, man. Y'all know what it is. That is James. I am Joe, and this has been the Best of Enemies. Peace.